Champagne producers are raising their glasses and toasting 2021. It looks set to be the best year ever for sales. Projections show the industry is recovering after revenue plummeted last year because of the pandemic. Richard Bampfield is a Master of Wine, a qualification issued by the Institute of Masters of Wine in the United Kingdom. He says it's an encouraging bounce back for champagne producers.
Well, it is significant, particularly after 2020, which was an extremely difficult year for champagne. Having said that, you asked for context. So champagne sales were down just under 20% in 2020, but that means that they were just over 80% of a normal year. So there was still quite a lot of champagne drunk. But certainly 2021, the rebound has been spectacular, and it does seem that it's caught producers and importers by surprise, the strength of the rebound. And I can only assume that there's a lot of people out there who were fed up of being miserable and wanted to start celebrating properly again. I think in 2020, people possibly had been still drinking champagne and celebrating, but maybe privately. And in 2021, we saw a return. We saw more weddings, more events, more occasions where champagne would be drunk, and the market reflects that.
Because lockdown saw parties being cancelled, weddings being cancelled, a total nightmare for the hospitality industry, which we've reported on many times in this programme. But you forget it's things like champagne that get cancelled in industrial quantities.
Well, it does certainly that would have been the case on the corporate side specifically, I think, and certainly they lost out a lot through hospitality. Yeah, as I say, it was still 80% of sales of a normal year in 2020. So I think this shows the resilience of champagne. And the interesting aspect of the last 12 months as well is it's not just that sales of champagne have been buoyant, it's that people have been drinking good champagne. There seems to be a trend. It was already, I think, before COVID, but that seems to have continued towards the more prestige cuvées, the Blanc de Blancs, the luxury champagnes. All of those seem to be making good progress as well. And at the same time, champagne seems to have become a bit more collectible. The fine wine market has seen a lot more activity on the champagne front.
And Richard, do we know if this is just the story of champagne, or were there similarly good sales for things like English wine, which is up and coming in Europe, and other sparkling wines that can't be called champagne?
I think sparkling wine generally has done pretty well. English sparkling wines have continued the growth of recent years, and it's still very encouraging seeing the growth. Obviously hit by the fact that they had fewer visitors than they would have liked, but I think sales through other channels have been really good. And in fact, it's forced them in a way to open up direct-to-consumer sales channels, which apparently have performed really well.
We reported extensively on this programme the shocking time that many wine producers had, many vineyards had, with, first of all, terrible frosts, and then fires, and then supply chain problems. I mean, it really hasn't been easy for this industry, has it?
It's been a desperately difficult year for producers, starting in the vineyard, where the weather has been really difficult in many parts of the world. It started off in New Zealand, where they had a difficult harvest back in February, and then the summer was a really difficult one in Europe. They're just extremes of drought, extremes of heat, extremes of when there was hail, there was heavy hail, extremes of frost, and extremes disease pressure, particularly mildew. So it's difficult for producers from a weather point of view, and then when they were trying to produce wines, they found it difficult to find workers, difficult to find people, difficult to find glass, difficult to find cartons, corks, capsules. Everything has been in short supply for reasons that are well documented, and I think have been experienced by every other sector of business as well.